Good evening. Right. It's the studio. Be- Welcome, everybody. I don't know who's here. Good evening. Um, is that? Why is that not working? Needs to update. Okay. I'm just setting things up as usual. All right. All righty then. Hopefully, other people will come in, and I don't want to end up starting and stopping. Lighting the right way. Good evening, Grammy. Look at this. Okay, let's get started tonight. I don't know why my user list. Oh, there it goes. Oh, good evening, Miss Mandy. I see that you're in the chat room. I'm going to hold off a minute or two before I really start, just in case Clay Miko and Norfairy come in. I know they're busy with packing and getting things together. Give it a minute or two, and then I will start this evening. Oh, I just want to double check something to see. Yeah, that's the right thing. Okay. Can you all hear me good? Quiet? Um, is that any better? Up north here? Is it any better for everyone else? I raised up the, okay. I just raised up the, input. Let's see here. Okay, we're going to get started. If they come in later, they come in later. That's fine. So tonight, it's Thursday. So we all know what that means. It's time for Stitch Dictionary. And tonight, this week's Stitch Dictionary is the raised ripple stitch or it's also known as the Alpine stitch. I think they call it Alpine stitch because each of these little raised things kind of look like trees if you kind of use your imagination, like lined up trees. It works better if it's there, it's a little clearer. So it makes this little ridge. We're going to do it in blue tonight. If anybody's going to be crocheting along, I can go slow. Again, that's what our project will look like. I'll move that out of the way here in a second. So how's everyone's evening? Hey, Nor Fairy. Enough with your depressed blue and your sad green and your melancholy whatever. Okay. To do this stitch, it is a multiple melancholy mauve. It's a multiple of odd, so it's an odd number, and then 2 extra for the foundation chain. So, you just chain an odd number. We're going to do 15. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Hey there, Claymiko. 15 and then 2 extra for the chain. So it's a odd number. And then our first 2 rows are pretty basic and easy. And again, if anybody's stitching along with me, let me know. And again, if you're just joining, we're doing the raised ripple stitch, also known as the Alpine stitch. We have an odd number of chains plus 2 additional for the foundation row, for the foundation chain. Okay. So what we're going to do is the 4th chain from the hook. I'm looking at my notes. Just make certain I'm doing it. That's fine. It's fine if you're not stitching along. So I'm referring to my notes just to make certain I'm doing the right thing. So the 4th chain from the hook, 1, 2, 3, 4. In the 4th chain, you're going to put in a double crochet. So again, it's an odd number, however wide that you need to make it. 2 additional chains for the foundation chain. The 4th one from the hook, put in a double crochet. And then all the other chains, you'll put in a double crochet. So this is real simple for this round. Are you talking to me? I don't know. Last time I went to the ballet, I tried to join in, and we're not doing that again. So again, you're going to do an odd number of chains plus 2 more. 4th one from the hook, you do a double crochet, and then every other chain, you're going to do a double into that chain. I keep splitting the yarn. Yeah, I'll have to get back to you on that one, Mandy. Everyone, each individual chain, you're going to put in a double. So you're not skipping. I probably worded it wrong. But the rest, each individual chain gets a double crochet into it. And this is to how it starts. Yes, this is how you start this pattern. So you do an odd number, 2 additional for the foundation chain, 4th one from the hook, you do a double crochet, and then each of the other remaining chains, you put a double into it. So you're just doing a row of double. That's all you're doing. Just real basic. And I think I only put a single into the end one there, the very last one. Okay? Real basic, just a row of doubles. The next row is real easy also. And again, if you're stitching along, take your time. This next row is super easy. The next row is you're going to chain 1, flip. You're going to skip your first stitch. So you're going to skip that first stitch there. And all the other stitches, you're going to put in a single. First 2 rows are real simple in this one. It's just on the beginning of that second row, skip that first stitch, and then the remaining ones, each of them get a single. The only thing is, when you get to the end here, that was our last stitch we went into. We've got this turning chain. And if you're not to this point yet, that's fine. Just going to let you know. You are going to put a single crochet into the top of that turning chain. Just so it's squared up. So again, to recap, you got your foundation chain. 4th from the hook, you do a double. All the other stitches, all the other chains get a double. You'll chain 1, turn, skip the first stitch, and put a single into each stitch, including the top of your turning chain. That's your first 2 rows. Let me check something. Something. So Cinderella, you said you're cowiling along with me, so I can wait until you get to this point. I don't know how wide you're making yours. I started with 15 chains, then 2 additional, so it's not that wide. Okay, so that's your first 2 rows. Row 3 is where it gets interesting. So you're going to, before you flip, I always chain first. You can flip and then chain. I always chain first. That's just the way I do it. You're going to chain 3 and turn your work. Now, I'm going to show you real quick right here. You've got that hole here at the top. That is a single crochet. Directly below it is your turning chain, which counts as a double. So we're going to try to line up, if you visually line up your, I'm going to move the hook out of the way real quick. You got a single on top of a double, a single on top of a double. So they're going to be kind of offset a little. So the first single corresponds to the turning chain. The next single corresponds to your double, and so on. It's kind of important to keep track of what's on the top and the bottom. So, let me fix my turning chain. So we're gonna.
Thanks for the follow.
Oh, thank you for the follow, Monkeys 2000. I think I know who that is. And welcome. We're doing the raised ripple stitch, or the Alpine stitch. So, this is row 3. We're going to skip the first single crochet, and we're going to do something called a front, what is it called again? A front treble stitch, or front post treble stitch. So, what we're going to do is we've got our 3 chains. We're going to wrap our hook twice, and we're going to drop down a row, and that first double that we did, that's here, we're going to go behind it. So we're dropping down to the first row. We still wrapped twice. Go behind it, yarn over, bring it up, and now we have 4 on the hook. Yarn over through the first 2, yarn over through the next 2, and yarn over through the last 2. So that made a treble stitch, or a triple stitch. But where you started it was under that double from the very first row you did, if that makes sense. I'll take it out and repeat that again. You're going to wrap twice. You're going to skip the edge. The very first double that you made, go under the post and come out the other side. Yarn over. Do you pull the yarn up? You can. It all depends on how you do it, how you hold it. The way I do it, it doesn't, I don't think it really matters. But again, it's how you hold it. If you're comfortable with it, then go ahead and do that. So I've gone under the post, I've yarned over and brought it up, 4 on the hook, yarn over through the first, yarn over and pull through the first 2, yarn over through the next 2, and yarn over through the last 2. Now, this is the important part. So, I always look behind that stitch I did. That's the front post treble. I'm going to move it out of the way, just to show you these single crochets that we made. So that right there is the first single crochet of the row. We skipped that. This single crochet is the second one, but it's going to be behind this stitch that we made. So we're going to skip that one also. We're going to go into the third single crochet. So you might have to pull back just to make certain you're going in the right one. once you get familiar with it, it'll make sense. You can also have the stitch like this and cover it, so it's hiding that single crochet that's right here, that's behind it. It'll hide it, and you're going to go into the next one, the next single, and you're going to do a double into that single crochet. That is the basic pattern. So again, you're going to chain 3, you're going to do the front post treble stitch. So it means you're going to wrap the yarn twice, go under the post, yarn, bring up a loop, yarn over, bring it through, and then finish the treble like you normally would. So the only difference is, instead of doing a treble into the previous row, you're going to drop down and do you're going to anchor it under the bottom, not bottom, you're going to anchor it to the very first row you did. And then in the immediate next single crochet, you'll do a double, if that kind of makes sense. So now you're going to skip the next double crochet, because this double here that we just made is going to be in line with the double from the previous row. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to do a front post triple crochet under the next double. So it's every other one. So we're going to wrap it twice, skip, like I said, skip that double, and we're going to go under the next double. And do the same thing. You're going to go yarn over, bring it through, 4 on the hook, and then you're just going to finish the triple crochet like you normally would. Again, you're skipping and it's kind of hard to see here. Move the hook out of the way. Behind this triple that we made, if you move that out of the way, there's a single there. You're skipping that, because this triple that you just did is going to lay over top of it. So you're going to go into the next one. So you're going to every other single crochet, and then the opposite is you're going to go the front post triple crochet under the doubles from the previous row. Hopefully that's making sense. So I always like I said, double check. I move that stitch out of the way to make certain that that one's lined up with that, so that stitch that's there, which is hard to see, that stitch is between my thumbs, is going to be hidden by what I just made of the front post triple crochet, and then in the very next single we'll put in a double, which I wrapped it twice for a single, for a triple, so I had to fix that. And this is how we're going to build. See, we've got our little raised stitch here, but in between, you've got a double. There's a double here and a double there. Again, if this is not making any sense, let me know, and I can help you clarify. Get some drink. And then we're going to continue that. So we just did a double into, like a normal double crochet into a single, like a normal row. And then the next one, we're going to do a front post triple. So we've wrapped it twice. We're going to skip. You're going to, yes, to the end of the row, except what you're going to do is let me get there. So when you get to, you'll do a double crochet in the very end single crochet, and then you'll do a double in the top of the turning chain. So when we get there, so I've got a ready for a triple. We're going to skip this double because that one's lined up with the double we just made. We're going to go under the next double from the very first row, do a front post triple. So it forms, and hopefully it's showing up on camera. You've got a raised triple here, a regular double, a raised triple, a regular double. So it'll alternate. Then in the next, we'll do a double. And then we're going to do a front post triple, which again, we're skipping every other double from the first row. Almost like a rib stitch, but not. Because usually if you're doing a rib, you're going to go every other one. So it's kind of like that. And now we're going to do a double into the next single crochet. The next one that's available, that you're going to visually see. Again, if you move these stitches out of the way, underneath will be a single. But that's going to be hidden. And now we're going to do a front post triple. Again, skip this one here, we're going to skip. And we're going to go under the next one. And again, the front post triple is going to lay down and kind of cover up the stitch we're not going to do. And it will show you the next one. So the next one will be right here where my thumb is. And that will be a double. And now we're going to do a triple, a front post triple. So wrap twice under that, bring it up, finish your triple like you normally would. Okay. Okay. So now we're going to do a double into this. And now we're going to do a front post triple. And when we get to the end of the row, might be difficult to see depending on how tight you stitch. Let me look at this real quick. Okay, my stitches are kind of tight. But right here, this here where the needle's pointing is the one that's going to be behind this triple. Next to it is another hole. That's a single. And then we have our turning chain. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a double into this single that's here. And then a double into the top of the turning chain. So you're going to end up having two doubles at the end. And I don't know how well that's showing up. The lighting and the yarn color. And so you kind of loosen it up. There is a single here. But there's also a single that's going to be hidden. That one here is going to be hidden behind the triple we made. The next one, we'll put a double in here and a double in the top of the turning chain. Yes. A double into the very last single and then a double into the top of the turning chain. Side by side. Yep. That's row 3. Row 4 and every even row is super simple. all the even rows. This will have a right and a wrong side. So the right side will have your ripple stitch. The back side look totally different. There's a right and wrong side to this. So all even rows, so now row 4, all even rows, you're going to chain 1, flip, skip the first single crochet, and then all the other stitches are going to get a single crochet, including the top of the turning chain. So skip the very first stitch, skip that stitch, and all the other stitches put in a single. Including the top of the turning chain. The very end there, you're going to put in a single. When you get, you're there, okay? So row 5, you're going to chain 3 and turn. I gotta get my, okay? So row 3, you're going to chain 3, turn. You're skipping that first single, and in the next stitch, you'll put in a double. And then you're going to repeat the pattern. You're going to do a front post triple under the next, and it will kind of show you, because let me loosen that up. From row 3, when we did it, this was a front post triple, and these two are front post triples. This one here in the middle is a double. So we're going to do a front post triple under that double. So they're going to be offset. But again, that first stitch in the row you'll skip. The second one you'll put in a double. And then the third one, third thing we're going to do is a front post triple under the double from the next row down. And then you repeat that. So now you can kind of look, there's a triple here. So the stitch right up above it, that's going to be a double. And you're repeating the same thing, but everything's off by 1 stitch. It's so they all interlock. So then the next one is a front post triple. And the very next stitch be a double. Again, hopefully this is making sense to anybody who's following along. So we did a double. Now we're going to do a front post triple under the next one. And then in the next, and again, each time you make a front post triple, you're covering up a single crochet from the row of single crochets you did. So then the next one you'll do a double. and so on until you get towards the end. Wait a minute. I gotta do a triple. I hope this color yarn is actually easy to see. I'm still trying to struggle with trying to find the right colors that show up on camera well. Okay, when we get to the end, I gotta do a double there. When we get to the end, and if you're there or not, that's fine. When you get to the end, we are going to we'll end with we got a front post triple. So we're gonna finish that. Oops, whole stitch came undone. And this is where it's difficult to see. Even for me, it's difficult to see. Between the turning chain and where we were, there is a single crochet there. And give me a second. I just got to double check something. Okay. Actually, there isn't. Okay. So when you get to the end of the row, this row is going to end with a front post triple. That's what I'm trying to double check here. Let me just... No. No. What's going to happen is you got that front post triple in that you're going to end with, and then the turning chain, you're going to do a double. In the turning chain, you'll do a double. The easiest way to do it is you're going to count your stitches. It should be what you originally had. I had 15. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And we don't count that last turning chain there. And that's the pattern. So now the next row will be all singles. Again, you're going to chain 1 and turn, skip the first single crochet, and each stitch gets a single. Okay, well, if you have 2 holes, then put then put double crochets in them. This stitch, when I was first learning it, it was a little I had to bend my mind around it a little to figure out how to do it. Yeah, I ended up like skipping my original sample I did. I skipped and missed, counted, and yeah, it could be a little. It is more complex. So again, the even row. Anytime you flip it on the back, you're doing singles. Again, you skip the first single. You do singles in every stitch. Plus, make certain you do a single into the top of the turning chain. And then the next row will be the same as row 3. So the next row will be the same as our first row of raised ripples, and it's just going to alternate back and forth, back and forth. I don't think I'm going to do then the turning chain. No, no. In the turning chain, you do a double. In the turning chain, you do a double. Then you chain 1, flip, skip the first stitch, and do a single all the way down, including a single into the top of the turning chain at the other end. The only time you do singles is when you're on the wrong side. The fronts are alternating doubles and front post triples. Oh, also, anybody who's interested in any of these stitches I've done, I do have written instructions. I should have mentioned that originally. So if there's a pass stitch or any stitch that we're doing, if you're not able to, for whatever reason, can't follow along with the live stream or any of the video playbacks, either here or on YouTube, I do have written, and I've rewritten them into what makes sense to me. Hopefully it makes sense to you. I can always send you those written instructions. Especially if, I think the best way, if you don't know me personally, anybody else is watching this, the best way is probably to leave a comment on the YouTube channel, and I can get in contact with you that way. But that's the raised ripple or the Alpine stitch. And if you kind of look at it, this color yarn doesn't really show it that well, but if you kind of squint your eyes, these kind of look like evergreen trees that are like on a mountain, real tall and thin. I think that's why they call it Alpine. It's a kind of cool textured stitch. Do you want me to keep going with that, or are we ready for Tunisian? And the Tunisian is a whole lot simpler. It is a really pretty stitch, and it doesn't make a very thick, textured pattern. I could see this being good for like a decorative pillow, because it definitely has some good texture to it. It could work for a blanket too, but I could definitely see it for a pillow. The camera's not really doing it, it's just, well, there we go. Now, yeah, as a shawl, very lace weight yarn would work good. More behind you. I've done singles all the way. Yes. So what I did is I finished on a row of singles. That's where I finished. I finished row, I did row 6. 1, 2, 1, 2, that was 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I've done row 6. Because row 1 was all doubles, row 2 was all singles, row 3 is when we start our raised ripple pattern, row 4 is singles, row 5 is raised ripple, but the opposite offset, and row 6 is singles. That's as far as I've done, is just 2 rows of the raised ripple, and then a row of single. But yeah, if you want me to continue another row of this, I can. Or we can, yeah, we can, it's up to whoever, it's whatever you guys want. We can continue this. Again, it's going to be a one, this is a 4-row repeat. So what we would do, the next row would be the same thing we did on row 3. We'd end up doing our front post triples here, and everything would be offset. It'd be the same as row 3. So they just move back and forth. So you could see how, in the pink sample here, these raised ripples here are alternate from these. And if you kind of look at it, they're all kind of lined up on a diagonal. They kind of go like so. But I thought it was an interesting stitch. Okay, well, we can always come back to it if anybody needs me to. And if not, we're going to transition to the Tunisian mesh stitch. And I promise you, the Tunisian mesh stitch is a lot easier. And again, I have the written instructions for the mesh stitch also. This here is the Tunisian mesh stitch. And it's what it says. It is a mesh-like fabric. It looks more complicated than it is. So, if you got a Tunisian hook, which I know Cinderella has them, whatever you choose, I always end up with Tunisian. I always go up a little bit larger than I would in regular crochet. And the regular crochet that I've been using is a 5.5 millimeter. The Tunisian, I go up to a 7, but that's personal preference. It's also better to do a larger Tunisian hook than you would, because it's not going to be as tight and it's going to curl less. It's still going to curl, but it's going to curl less. So I just happen to be using a size 7 millimeter Tunisian hook. Okay. So this is also worked in an odd number of stitches. So you're going to chain an odd number. Again, I'm going to do 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Again, anybody new who's not familiar with Tunisian crochet, because I know we've got some new followers. Tunisian crochet is a type of crochet that is used a large, long hook. You don't turn your work, and it's consisting of a forward pass and a return pass. And I do have a video on YouTube, on the YouTube channel, explaining Tunisian crochet. I think it might be a standalone video, standalone stream. So, we've got our odd number of stitches, our odd number of chains. And for the second from the hook, you're going to go in and pick up a loop leave it on the hook, and you're going to do that for every chain, just like how you start pretty much every Tunisian stitch. You pick up all the loops on, you go into each chain and pick up a loop for each one. This row here is your foundation row. This is real simple. This is simple Tunisian stitch. Real basic. Again, those who are new, you've got your chain, your number of chains. Once you have gone through each of them, the number of loops will be the same as the number of chains on your hook. We had 15. Now we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, and 15. We have 15 loops. Now for simple Tunisian, our return pass is the same thing that you do smoking chains. No, we're not smoking these chains. So what we're going to do is the same thing for all simple Tunisian. You're going to yarn over, bring through the first loop, and then yarn over, bring it through the next 2. Yarn over through the next 2. You keep doing that. You yarn over through 2 at a time until you get 1 loop on your hook. Again, those of you that are new to it, it's almost like a mixture of crocheting and knitting. But I find it easier than knitting. This is basic, simple Tunisian simple stitch for our foundation row. Once you get to that point, once you've done your forward pass and your return pass, that's fine. Take your time. Yeah, I tend to go fast. No, no one's stoned. Nope, you're fine. I think you're the only one that's crocheting along. Yeah, I don't know why they asked that. Okay, so After we've gone back and only have one loop on the hook, little key thing is tighten up that loop so it's not as loose and your stitches will be a lot better. So now you're going to yarn over, skip the next bar, and in the following bar, go under that bar, yarn over and bring up a loop. Again, I'll repeat that. Keep your loop on the hook kind of snug, yarn over. Thank you, Clay Miko. So you're gonna keep it snug. You're going to yarn over. The edge here never counts as any of the bars we go under. You're going to skip the next one. And in the following one, you're going to go under that bar. Again, it's only the top loop of that bar. That bar really has 2 strands. You only go under the top loop. So you've yarned over, you've skipped the first one, go under the next one, yarn over, and bring up the loop. And that's what you continue to the edge. You're going to yarn over, skip the next one, go under the following, yarn over, and bring up a loop. Same thing, yarn over. Yeah, if I'm going too slow, yell at me. Yes, but you yarn over for each one. You yarn over, and you go through every other one. You skip one, and then the next one you go. Yarn over, skip one. Because every time you skip one, you're decreasing, but that yarn over, you're still going to have the same amount of loops on your hook. So yarn over, skip one, and then go into one. Yarn over, skip one, and then go into one. Yarn over, we're going to skip one, and then we're going to go into the turning chain at the edge. Double check something. Well, it's not really a turning chain, it's the last bar at the very edge. And to double check, you're going to count your loops. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Since you skipped every other one, if you ended up doing that, you'd have a whole lot less on the hook. But each time you skipped one, you yarned over. So that's going to compensate for anything that you skipped. So you're still going to have the same amount of loops on your hook. And that's the repeat, that's the row. The return pass is the same thing that you basic return pass. You're going to yarn over, go through one, yarn over through 2, yarn over through 2, and so on until you get one loop on the hook. Your return passes are just like simple Tunisian. Returns are the easy part on this. So when you actually get to that point and you do your return pass, you're going to have large holes. And that's what we want. It's going to make a mesh. And once you get to that point, then I will show you how to do the next row. Mesh, yes. My pronouns, he and him. Okay. Yes, we can add colors. We're not doing colors right now because I'm just trying to teach the stitch. I'm not actually making a project. This is just a fundamental of how to do this specific stitch. That's what Thursdays are. Thursdays, it's learning stitches. So now, before we go into the next row, I want to show you how the stitches are formed on the bars. So, when we do the next row, this is the edge. We always skip the edge. Where this thumb is here, the front thumb, my thumb that's moving, that's the first bar. We're going to skip that, and we're going to go into the next one. They're in a little bit different position. They're almost in a V-shaped. So we're still going to tighten up our loop, yarn over, skip that first one, which happens to be right here, and go into the next. Same thing with this segment. Our first bar is here. It's kind of difficult to show. Would be our first bar. We'll skip. We'll go into the next. Same thing. Skip that, go into the next. So if anybody's ready for me to go to the next row, I can. If not, if you still need time. Sure to go to the next row? Okay. Again, tighten up your loop on the hook, yarn over. We never go into the edge. We never do the edge one. We're going to skip the next bar, and we'll go into this bar. So again, every other one will go in, and they're going to be lined up with what we went under previously. So we've yarned over, go into the next one, bring up a loop, yarn over, skip, go into the next one. If you move the fabric, what you've made, it'll kind of roll, and what you need to go under will kind of be on the top. And they'll be lined up with the bar from the previous row. So just yarn over, and again, you're skipping and going under one. It doesn't look like you're skipping because they're so close to each other. So in that grouping, you'll skip the first one that's on the side, and then you go into the next one. And then when you get to the edge, you'll do the same thing. When you get there, I know you're not there yet, you do the exact same thing. Also on the edge, when you get there, if you kind of turn this, there's two loops here. You're skipping. I'm getting there. You're going to skip when you get to the end. I know Cinderella's still working on it. You're going to, this is the last cluster. You'll skip that. And if you turn that, you'll have two loops. You go under two loops of that edge chain. Done? Okay. Gotta find where it goes. And again, always go back and count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. I've got the right amount. Let me check something. Okay, good. And then you're going to do the return pass like normal. Thank you, Clay Miko. And that's what it's going to end up starting to look like. It's going to be very open and mesh-like. That's why it's called the mesh stitch. It's real easy to do. Lots of yarn overs. Nothing too complex. Not like other Tunisian stitches we've done. This one's pretty simple. I'm not certain what you would use this for because it's very open. A shawl, maybe. Yeah, it's going to take some getting used to. But it's just like a Tunisian simple stitch. The only thing is, you yarn over, you skip one, and you go into the next. Yarn over, skip one, go into the next. Oh, excuse me. You make a hammock. Both loops on that edge. That's the difficult part. It's really not that difficult of a stitch. It's just a slight variation of Tunisian simple. And also, it's supposed to be open and lacy. It's not supposed to be real dense. At least it's only a one row repeat. You're not having difficult, like you're not doing something different on each row. It's not like the smocking stitch that we did the other week, or the ocean stitch, which the ocean stitch was very difficult. It's pretty, but very difficult. You have something that's completed. And it's something you don't like if you're thinking about frogging it. Well, I like that. Wait a minute. Wait. Did you recently work on this? Because that's Tunisian simple stitch, looks like. That's what it looks like to me. And then cross stitch on it. Oh, you didn't do it? Okay. Is it something that you happened to pick up on a recent purchase? Yeah, that's definitely Tunisian simple stitch with cross stitch added. I gotta find. Hold on, I gotta fix my window. Ah, technical difficulties. Okay. This is what she found in her travels. And let's see. I can't make that any. I can't zoom in. But that is definitely Tunisian simple stitch, and then gone back and cross stitched it. Now, if you frog it, I mean, I like it, but if you frog it, careful, you'd have to pick out all the cross stitching first. You have two other pictures. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, that's definitely Tunisian here, and then that is all cross stitch. Good idea. Donate it to a veteran. Very good idea. I like it. Whoever did it actually spent a lot of time working on that. Not only doing the Tunisian part, but all the time that went into the cross stitching of it. I'm just going to do one more row of the mesh stitch. And then I think we're just going to chill, and I'm going to find something to mess around with while we sit and chit chat. I don't really have, well, I do have a partial sample for Saturday's stream that I can show. Saturdays is going to be the continuation of Corner to Corner, but Saturdays is going to be introducing. Well, probably what happened was, I mean, I can't say for certain, but um, maybe the person passed away and it was all donated. But I understand that all the work that goes into it and you buying it for a cheap price and you feel guilty. But like Grammy said, if you don't like it, and you don't want it, donate it to like a veteran, and then that way they can get some use out of it, and they would probably appreciate it. Okay. Again, that's the mesh stitch. Once you get used to it, hey, that's a good price. But once you get used to the mesh stitch, it works up pretty quick. So that's it for tonight. I'm going to not. We're not going to stop the stream. We're still early in the stream, but yeah, careful with that. So this here is our. This is going to be our swatch that I'm working on. The preview swatch that I'm going to be working on for Saturday's stream. This is corner to corner, what we did last week. Good idea to examine how to actually construct it. So I'm still working on, this is going to be the swatch, the example that we're going to do for Saturday. I'm still working on it, but we're going to add color to it. So I'm not going to add color tonight, but I will show you how to, yes, this here is all regular corner to corner, all white. I'm to the point when I'm going to do the swatch, I'll probably end up doing that tomorrow. I'm going to add the color. We'll get into all of that on Saturday, because that's going to take your brain getting used to figuring out how to do that. But it's the same stitch, it's just introducing the color. So that's so far where I have on my sample swatch. Saturday you'll see it all completed. Oh, where is... Now, Sundays is temperature blanket. So now, that's not what I wanted. Why did it say that? I don't know why it says circles, because it's not circles. So we're just going to sit and chill like we did the other night. Afterwards, after I got done temperature blanket, I'm just going to make my grannies for my scrappy blanket. So if you're working on a project, if you want to try practicing grannies again, whatever. This is just the chill chit chat part of the stream. I'm not going to be I'm not going to be yeah, oh yeah, I was going to mention that. That's what I can show. Stitch Fiddle, thank you. Yes, Stitch Fiddle is a cool website. That's where I was designing the corner to corner for Saturday. Let's see if I can get this here. I'm gonna overlay this. Let me get my technical stuff going. So this is Stitch Fiddle. Stitch Fiddle is a free website. And we're actually going to go home to the home screen of it. Where's the home? Wait a minute. Come on. Oh, create new chart. So you can use this for not just crochet, but you can use it for cross stitch, knitting, quilting, latch hook, diamond painting, others. Anything that uses the grid. Yes. So what you can do, and I'm just going to choose crochet. So we've selected crochet, and then you can do what type of crochet. So we did corner to corner. There's a crochet with colors. This is if you're doing horizontal or vertical, where you can kind of like plan out your project before you actually do it. We don't use that word. You can use that word, but not in that context. Filet crochet, which I've never done filet crochet, but I grasp the concept, and I think we're going to end up doing that in the future. I'm not certain about freeform. You can do Tunisian, all different types. So let's just do regular crochet with colors. Actually, no. We're going to go back and do, okay. Big Cub Cuddler. Okay, we're going to go back and we're going to do corner to corner. Actually, no. We're going to do Tunisian crochet. So since you said you have you found a graph for Harley, so if you wanted to do a Tunisian crochet, simple crochet with the cross stitch, not certain. I've never used the site for that. What you would probably want to do is do your regular Tunisian simple in whatever colors and however how to do the rows, multiple rows. And then if you wanted, you want to do it in corner to corner. Okay. Before you do that, watch Saturday's stream, because once you figure out how to do colors, that may or may not want you to do, that may or may not, you may or may not want to do corner to corner, depending on how difficult it is. But you can still do corner to corner. So I chose corner to corner. And with this, so we chose crochet, we chose corner to corner. And if you have specific brands of yarn, let's say we've got Red Heart Super Saver. That's one of the most common ones. Or if you got Karen Simply Soft, or any, whatever you're going to use. Or you could do no preference. So let's say we're going to do Red Heart Super Saver. And we can either start with an empty chart from a picture or create a QR code, which I'm not certain what that is. So let's say you had a picture. If you clicked on that, you could upload your picture to it, like an actual photograph or something, and you want to keep it more basic geometry. You don't want anything super detailed, because everything's going to get lost in it. The only way to get the clarity with all that detail, you'd have to have a really, really big piece when you're done. So I don't have a picture, but we're going to have an empty, I'll choose an empty chart. If you choose to do an empty chart, you can choose your columns. Oh, you have a picture? Okay, hold on. Let's go back to new chart. Crochet, corner to corner. Let's do Red Heart Super Saver from a picture. Let's see. I'm going to move that off screen real quick. And oh, okay. Well, I gotta edit this picture because it's a screenshot and not a full picture. Okay, that picture you sent me is already done on a grid. So you probably won't need stitch fiddle for that, because stitch fiddle just puts it into a grid. But let me pull up this picture, and I gotta edit it. I gotta find where I put it. Here it is. We're gonna crop it because we don't need all of this extra screenshot stuff. But yeah, that's oh no. Bear with me. Actually, I did see an example of somebody that did that. I'm not doing that, but somebody has done that. Let's close that out. And go to Stitch Fiddle. I'm going to upload my picture. Trying to find the picture I've got. Okay. See, when I upload it, it's already been... Oh. It's already in a grid, and when you put it into a grid, it's going to make it blurry. So that's why I wouldn't use anything that's already in a grid. But what you could do is an empty chart. Let's say, I don't know how many pixels across it should be. Photo. Move it over. This is pretty wide. So, oops. That's not what I want. How many pixels wide that is. Okay, let's just say we're gonna do something simple. Yes. You have a picture? Hold on. Alrighty then, we could do that. But yeah, if it's already in a grid and it's color, yes, each square is a color. You could do that. That's that Harley Davidson thing. Again, before you get to saying that's what you're gonna do, watch Saturday's stream. I'm just giving you a heads up. Okay, so corner to corner, we'll do red heart from a picture, and oh wait a minute, that's not it. That's not the wait. Why is this? I gotta choose a picture. Oh, I gotta save the thing. Yeah, hold on, I gotta save the picture first. All right, so where did I get the what what where did I put? I'm having technical issues. Why can't I see my overlay? Sorry, technical issues. The lighting was a little dark on that picture, so when I put it into Stitch Fiddle, this is what happened. We can adjust our settings, and I think there might be square, exact size, gauge, color. Might be able. Oh no. Yeah, it's because the picture was kind of dark. We can kind of adjust it. Yeah, if you don't mind. And it's better to have more simple images instead of real detailed ones. Just waiting for a picture to be sent. Okay. Hold on. Iced tea's in the cup. Let's see. Choose a picture. Let's see if this is going to work. Yes, but this is what's happening. This is a brighter picture. I don't think their um software is as good to detect brightness. It's because it's picking up oh, if it looks fuzzy, it's too detailed. No, not that detailed of it. Um, Again, I've never used Stitch Fiddle to upload a picture, but let's use this here. We can come back and let me see. We'll close it. So we'll use this. We'll come back and we'll have to go in and edit it. So now we're going to save it as a chart. So we're going to zoom. Oh, we'll zoom in a bit. And like these areas here. No, this was not a cross stitch piece. This was, I'll show you what it was. Is this like a tray or a, wait, I gotta move the thing. That is what she sent me. Oh, I see why it's picking up, because it's not completely red in the center. There's white in there. So, oh, come on, let's move the thing. So that's why we've got some pixels here that are white, and it's going to look a little weird. You can always go back in and change these pixels. See these little orange colored pixels? You can always go in and edit the chart this carrot color. And let's see, on the right, that's flame, that's carrot. And you can go in and change these individual pixels. Let me see if I'm going to zoom in. Where's the zoom feature? Gotta find the zoom. Where did the zoom go to? Oh, here's the zoom. So these little pixels here are showing white, which in the original picture they are, but if I wanted them orange, I can go in and change them. Yeah. So it's the website's free. Or what you could do, if you want a more simple, if you want a more simple one, let's start over. And we will create a new chart. We'll do crochet. Let's do corner to corner. And let's do Red Heart Simple Saver. We'll do an empty one. And if you want, for instance, this is what I use to plan out Saturday's example. I did it 13 by 12. So let's do 13. Yes. So like here on the screen, I chose corner to corner. Now, those squares, like when I could, move the thing, corner to corner here. Each square in the corner to corner that you make will be a square on that grid. So I've got 13 columns and 12 rows, and then I'm going to create a chart. So this is a smaller piece, obviously 13 by 12. And then you can go and choose, since I chose Red Heart Super Saver as my palette, if I know what colors I want, specific yarn, or you could choose just a plain, I choose a plain red and a plain white and plain whatever. But if you know the specific colors, like they have, this is what, dark orchid. So if we want dark orchid to go here and here and here, and you can make a picture that way. Same thing will work if you're doing knitting or cross stitch, quilting, other types of projects. And if you leave it blank, there'll be a no stitch, or they only show a few stitches here on the left. But if we click add, these are the code numbers and the shades. Well, if you kind of have an idea of the finished measurement, let's say it's however many feet by however many feet, will you measure a sample here? So we got a ruler here. 1 square for mine is approximately an inch square. Approximately. It's just under. So if we know it has to be X amount of feet, we figure out how many squares we're going to need in a foot, and then for your finished width, height and width, and you put that in there, and then you fill in your colors. Or that picture you found of the Harley Davidson, the squares are already there, so you don't need to stitch fiddle for that. If you have an existing picture that's already done up in grids, like a cross stitch pattern, or any other type of pattern that's already like that, then you do 1 square on your grid will correspond to 1 square in corner to corner. But this here, this is just, we're picking our own, we're making our own pattern. So I'm going to choose this green color. I'm going to add it. So this green color, oh, I don't need that. So stuck to the green, let's do a green there. Well, you could do whatever, you could put the colors wherever you want, essentially. So let's do, and I'm just picking colors at random. And this would never be anything that I would make, but do some more orchid. So you can place them however you want. And is there a clear button? Why is my screen flashing? There's an undo. I don't think there's an erase. I think you can, oh, you can select all of them. Oh, that's Stitch Fiddle. That back out of the way. I hope it too. So that ate up some of my time, which is good. But I'm just gonna do some grannies here. Oh, really? Oh, cool. Yeah, I'm relatively new to Stitch Fiddle. I've only used it to do my sample here for corner to corner. This is my knotted yarn, so this isn't really going to look pretty. This is my big old mess of whatever I got. True. Like I said, catch Saturday's stream, and then that might help you make a decision if you would want to do that Harley thing on corner to corner. At least with Tunisian, like if you use that actual gridded image, um, you already know how many stitches wide that image is, and you can always do extra for the negative space on either side. And with that, it's all rows back and forth. It's not real complicated. But that image, I think, might be yeah. And that image, if you do, because I don't know how many pixels wide it is. It's It's pretty wide. It's got to be. Well, let me look at the image you sent me. I think it actually had. Let's save that image. Kind of blurry. It's 80 tall and about 100 wide. That image you sent me. And that's including all the white negative space. So if you did corner to corner, and if yours are roughly an inch, you're going to have 100 inches by 80 inches, which that's sizable. What is well, where's the delete button? 80 divided by 12. 80 would be 6 feet. If your corner to corner squares are about an inch, mine are a little less than an inch, roughly an inch, and you have 80 across, that's actually almost 7 feet. That's like 6 3/4 and 6 2/3 feet. So not quite 7 feet. So that's 7 feet wide. Again, it's not 80 stitches. If you're doing corner to corner, it's 80 squares. And then it's 100, and that's what, 8 feet? A little over 8 feet? So that would be really big in corner to corner. Just that image. Not including anything else you want to do to it. But if you're doing Tunisian simple stitch, and it's going to be 80 across, use a bigger hook, and your stitches might be a little looser, or you'd have to play around. You would have to do a gauge, and I know that's a bad word for us hookers. We don't like the word gauge. Okay. Yeah, you could do that, but you'd end up, as detailed as that Harley logo is, you'd lose a lot in the details. It would be an orange and white and black blob. You wouldn't be able to, it wouldn't actually be legible. It would just, you'd just have colors everywhere. That's why I'm saying I think Tunisian might be better. and at least with Tunisian, when you cross stitch into it, your cross stitches are going to be aren't as tiny and fiddly as cross stitch is. I mean, again, you could try it. You could use it as a do a sample, a small sample. Again, Saturday when I show color, and I'm going to show a 12 by 13 piece, which I don't have an example here. You'll see how quickly it will what's the word, work up, and your square, it'll go quick, and your design is going to corner is better for real basic geometrics. What, these colors? Yes, they're supposed to clash because this is my Frankenball. This is all the scraps from years past that aren't big enough for a project. They get knotted together. I know you're not supposed to knot, but they get knotted together, and then they get made up into granny squares, and at some time tails get all tucked in, and then they're all going to be pieced together, and it's a Frankenblanket. And I don't know if Clay Mika remembers this yarn. This is the yarn that I made that pair of gloves out of, which I will never do again. So yeah, the point is for these colors to clash. Change this color real quick. The center is all going to be orange, and then it's going to go to that blue color. Yeah, usually I weave in later. I'm just making, whenever I have free time. I mean, I haven't worked on this in years, but yeah, make a bunch and then just put them in a bag, and then whenever, just go and weave in ends and trim. And go from there. Also, this has got all different size thickness. This is a chenille yarn we're going to. So, there's no rhyme or reason with this. This is like very much Frankenstein. And when I knotted them together, no, I don't. With this, I don't care. If I really cared, when I would get to it, I would clip the knots out and then join properly. No, I'm leaving the knots in. This project is the exception to the rule. Doesn't bother me for this one. I will weave in the center tail, because that just seems to be a little easier, but all the other ones do whenever. Oh, we're already going to the burgundy. This is going to be a bitch, because this hook's technically too small for this yarn. It's a bulky yarn. Yeah, the whole reason I came up with this is like, I'm not wasting this yarn, but it's not enough to do any real pattern or any project. Trying to go into this tiny little thread, big chunky chenille yarn. I've been using chenille for a while. That one definitely clashes. Anything less than 6 inches, I probably usually just throw them away. Or if you really, really, really wanted to save them, you can use them as stuffing for like amigurumi projects. If your amigurumi stitches are really tight, I just throw them away. It's not even worth it because I don't really do amigurumi, which I might demonstrate one small thing on here at some point. Um, I don't think anybody, y'all are ready for it yet because if you stitch along, you're just now getting the concept of circles and magic circles, and that's what amigurumi, a lot of it is stitching in the circle. Like, hey, that's fine. I mean, I'll do it if there's interest, if other people want to. There is a cute pattern I saw on a stream the other day. I don't have the written pattern for it. Where is that picture? Let's. She was making these on stream the other day, and oh yeah, the nurse one too, yeah. But these little cows, they were cute. Leaving them out for the nesting material, I can understand if it's cotton, like a natural thing. I mean, there is pros and cons even to that. Um, I don't know about that. Like I said, I've heard of people. Well, for less than 6 inches, you're not really going to be able to make anything with little snippets of yarn. If you're going to donate, you donate like a sizable ball of yarn. My software keeps freezing, flickering for some reason. I don't know what's wrong with that. Oh, now we're switching to green. How many colors can I get in here? One, two, three, four. Fifth. It's supposed to be ugly. It's not supposed to be pretty. Oh, I'm getting a knot. Oh, okay, we're good. Wait a minute. Wait. We're having an issue. Having an issue. Well, I got some of that. Well, actually, no, I gave that to Grammy. Yeah, for gluing little snippets. That's a good idea. That's the end of that square. That total of 6 colors. That is an ugly, ugly square. And it's a little bit bigger. And that may or may not go into the blanket. That might be too big, but that's fine. That strand is too small. I don't remember a macaroni hat. Forgot how to use fun fur. Now that I'm done, that's just the center. Software, it's not crashing, but it keeps flickering, which is not my monitor. It's the software I'm using. Hopefully that doesn't crash. If it crashes, then we're done. Yeah, got some more ugly. I don't remember those. That explains a lot. Changing colors again. Yeah, the little sample she made is pretty cool looking. I think I'm going to finish this square. And I think I'm going to end the stream after I get to the end of this. Oh, you just sent something? Let's see. Let's see. Yeah, but first I'd have to learn how to do it. I've seen this done. I've never done it before. It's it's based on circles, kind of. I like those too. And that would work good with cotton yarn if it's a coaster. Because again, you want something to absorb any of the condensation. Yeah, I'll have to figure out how to do the swirl. These would be kind of cool for like the holidays. Almost look like peppermints. Oh, oh no. Oh, okay. I moved the wrong window and almost screwed stuff up. Yeah, kind of like lollipops. Yeah, I'll have to figure that out. Let me go to. If I don't do it now, I forget. I've got a running document in my folder. Yeah, Grammy. I'm glad you corrected yourself. I'm like, what? Grammy, are you partaking of the wine this evening? It's scrubbers. Yeah, this is ugly, but it's supposed to be ugly. Okay. I personally don't like using that scrubber yarn. I don't like the way it feels. I don't like the texture of it. Ugh. I mean, I understand it's like that because it's meant for cleaning dishes, but yeah, no hot tea. Yeah, what's in that hot tea? Let's make pit scrubbers. I think this square might be too big also. It's all this bulkier yarn. It looks like I'm making a rat's nest, which I kind of am. Oh, God. Well, it's not barf. It looks like somebody barfed, but it's not. It's actually a granny. Not a lot. Not all grannies are pretty. Yeah, I think this one might be too big. These might end up being frogged at some point. Come on. There's a knot in there. I don't want to know what she's testing on her feet. And afterwards, I hope she doesn't use it to clean dishes. Okay, we're going to finish that stitch. Yeah, those two are going to be a little bit too big for the blanket, but that's okay. But I did get rid of some of the yarn. Different types in here. Yeah, I'm ending the stream too, um so hopefully y'all liked those two stitches, and remember to check out my YouTube channel. Link is down below, somewhere below. Thanks for the follow. Oh, thank you for the follow, Shortcake. So my like I said, YouTube channel is linked below, and Saturday we're doing color work on corner to corner, and I'll catch you then. And everybody have a good evening and happy crafting.